हेलो। नमस्ते। डे टू बहुत दिनों बाद मैं आया हूँ। डे वन आई थिंक 3 या 4 दिन पहले मैंने की थी। आज 19/5/2025 है। लाइक एटलीस्ट 3 या 4 डेज हो गए हैं। आज हम लोग बात करेंगे फ्योडोर डोस्टोव्स्की पे। जो उनकी बुक है उन पे हम बात करेंगे और कुछ रीडिंग्स करेंगे। उनका बुक है डेमोन्स, जो फ्योडोर डोस्टोव्स्की ने लिखा है। आ, कुछ रीडिंग्स हम लोग इस पे डालेंगे कि फ्योडोर डोस्टोव्स्की कैसे सोचते हैं, कैसे लिखते हैं, अपने तौर तरीकों को कैसे अपने किताब में सम्मिलित करते हैं। लेट्स स्टार्ट। सो आई रीड या तो मैं पेज 14 को पढ़ता हूँ। पेज 14 का थर्ड पैरा है उसको। There are strange friendship. The two friends are always ready to fly at one another and go on like that all their lives, and yet they cannot separate. Parting, in fact, is utterly impossible. The one who has begun the quarrel and separated will be the first to fall ill and even die, perhaps, if the separation comes off. I know for a positive fact that several times Stephen Trofimovich has jumped up from the sofa and beaten the wall with his fists after the most intimate and emotional tete-a-tete with Varvara Petrovna. इसमें कुछ कैरेक्टर्स है, वारवारा पेट्रोना एंड एंड और एक नाम है स्टेफन ट्रोफोमोविच। रशियन नाम है तो हो सकता है मैं अच्छा से प्रोनाउंस नहीं कर पाता हूँ, पर you can take that. This proceedings was by no means an empty symbol. Indeed, on one occasion he broke some plaster of the wall. It may be asked how I came to know such delicate details. What if I were myself a witness of it? What if Stephen Trofimovich himself has, on more than one occasion, sobbed on my soldier, while he described to me in lurid colors all his most secret feelings? And what was there he did not say at such times, but what almost always happened after these tearful outbreaks was that next day he was ready to crucify himself for his ingratitude. He would send for me in a hurry or run over to see me simply to assure me that Varvara Petrovna was an angel of honor and delicacy, while he was very much the opposite. He did not only run to confide in me, but on more than one occasion described it all to her in the most eloquent letter, and wrote a full signed confession that no longer ago than the day before he had told an outsider that she kept him out of vanity, that she was envious of his talents and erudition, that she hated him and was only afraid to express her hatred openly, dreading that he would leave her and so damage her literary reputation, that this drove him to self-contempt, and he was resolved to die a violent death, and that he was waiting for the final word from her which would decide everything, and say and so on in the same style. You can fancy after this what an hysterical pitch the nervous outbreaks of this most innocent of all 50-year-old infants sometimes reached. I once read one of these letters after some quarrel between them, arising from a trivial matter but growing venomous as it went on. I was horrified and besought him not to send it. I must more honorable duty. I shall die if I don't confess everything, everything. He answered almost in delirium, and he did send the letter. That was the difference between them, that Varvara Petrovna never would have sent such a letter. It is true that he was passionately fond of writing. He wrote to her though he lived in the same house, and during hysterical interludes he would write 2 letters a day. I know for a fact that she always read these letters with the greatest attention. Even when she received two a day, and after reading them, she put them away in a special drawer, sorted and annotated. Moreover, she pondered them in her heart. But she kept her friend all day without an answer, met him as though there were nothing the matter, exactly as though nothing special had happened the day before. By degrees, she broke him in so completely that at last he did not himself dare to allude to what had happened the day before, and only glanced into her eyes at times, but she never forgot anything. While he sometimes forgot too quickly, wow, and encouraged by her composure, he would not infrequently, if friends came in, laugh and make jokes over the champagne the very same day. With what malignancy she must have looked at him at such moments while he noticed nothing. Perhaps in a week's time, a month's time, or even 6 months later, chancing to recall some phrase in such a letter, and then the whole letter with all its attendant circumstances, he would suddenly grow hot with shame and be so upset that he fell ill with one of his attacks of summer cholera. These attacks of sort of summer cholera were, in some cases, the regular consequence of his nervous agitations and were an interesting peculiarity of his physical constitution. आज के लिए बस इतना ही, दैट्स इट। अब नेक्स्ट कभी फिर से और पढ़ेंगे जब टाइम मिलेगी मुझे। एक्चुअली मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि इसी तरह आपके साथ या मैं खुद के साथ डोस्टोस्की को पूरा पढ़ जाऊँ। उनका जो बुक है डेमोन्स है, आई थिंक मोर देन 800 पेजेस है, तो पढ़ना थोड़ा मुश्किल है, तो मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि धीरे धीरे कंप्लीट करूँ। पर अच्छा बुक है, मैं आपको भी सलाह दूंगा कि आप जाके पढ़ें। तो आज मैं पेज नंबर 17 पढ़ा हूँ, कल ट्राई करूँगा 18 से। ओके, थैंक्स, थैंक यू सो मच।